Hi folks, thanks for watching Hack Skills and Mods. This is the detailed look at the trigger job I did on my AK and the retainer plate. Rob Ski calls the pin that came in this rifle a paper clip, and he says they break a lot, and Rob seems to know his stuff, so if he tells me those break a lot, that's all I need to know. This is a $4 part and no one has ever said these break. So I just went ahead and got one and put it in there and alleviated that problem. Okay, trigger job. Trigger jobs are, you can do a lot with just polishing and making things move smoothly against each other. Let's start with the easy part first. Right here against the trigger in the front to take up what is known as creep, I cut a piece of leather to fit against the handguard here, and I cut it just short enough till the trigger would reset and have just a little bit of slack in it. And then I taped it here in place, and that takes up our creep. That is the movement from where the trigger sits normally until you pull it back where it's ready to fire. Okay. Behind the trigger, the amount that the trigger moves from the point that it fires until it stops moving rearward is called over travel. So I put a piece of leather here behind the trigger, and I cut it just thin enough till it allows the rifle to fire and have just a hair of slack, and then I taped it to the handle, and that takes care of a lot of creep and a lot of over travel. And I didn't buy any parts to do this trigger job. I didn't put any money into it. It's just, you know, some scrap leather and duct tape. To polish parts, 600 grit sandpaper works wonderfully, and it's very inexpensive. The old fellow's stout. The hammer, this area right here, okay, right here and right here, this edge needs to be polished. Don't change any angles, don't take any material, really any amount of material out. Just polish it, and polish it about 1/8 inch up, because the sear hooks they don't sit perfectly parallel with each other. They set at a little bit of an angle, so the sear hooks only make contact for about the first 1/8 of an inch here. So polish that with 600 grit. Polish the underside of the sear hooks here and here with 600 grit. If there's an edge right here, take that edge off. Don't change any angles, don't take material away, just take the edge off of it if there's an edge sticking up there, a burr. And then polish this area right here. You can polish this area here if you want. This is what's known as the disconnect. This is what, when your trigger is pulled back, this is what catches the hammer like so and keeps it from firing more than once. So when you release it, it catches here. Okay, and then when you pull the trigger again, it of course pops around the hammer. This area here can be polished. It really isn't necessary to get a good trigger to polish that, but it may help rifle work a little smoother. You want to polish the inside of this tube. This disconnect and this sear hooks and trigger are two different pieces. The sear hooks and trigger are one piece, the disconnect is another piece. See how they move independently of each other? They pivot on this tube, and there's a spring right here that keeps tension on this disconnect. If you want to take this apart, just slide this tube out and polish the edge, the surfaces where the disconnect and the sear move against each other. That would smooth things out some. This tube does not pivot inside the sear, so you want to polish the inside of the tube. You can take sandpaper and wrap it around a ink pen cartridge or a handle on a pick like so, just to get it started. Well, that didn't work right. Let's try that again. Like so, to get it rounded. Once you get it rounded a little bit, you can take that out. You see what diameter that is? Okay, now if all I do is take my fingers and thumbs and roll that, just keep rolling it, you can feel it drawing up, you can feel it getting tighter. Now, look how big that is. Okay, once you put it in here to polish this, come on, work with me. There we go. Once you get it in there, you let it go, and then you twist it like you rolled it this direction, twist it this direction, and that'll cause it to force out against the inside of that tube and polish that. You want to move it in and out as you polish it, and then after a while you want to switch sides. That way you make sure and polish everything and don't miss anything. You want to do the same thing here on the hammer and polish the inside of that, and then you want to take some 600 grit and polish the outside of the hammer and sear pins. Don't polish them this way, polish them this way, okay? And wrap your sandpaper like so and twist that and work it in and out as you twist it. If you have some grooves that go this way, as long as you can't catch your fingernail on them this direction, because that's how the parts pivot against it, as long as it feels smooth on your fingernail like that, you're good. You know, if it feels a little rough when you do this, that's not a big deal because the parts actually move this direction. And I believe that is the entirety of the trigger job that I did on my AK, and that made a wonderful difference. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks again to our veterans. If you would not mind, please like, share, and subscribe. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you got a comment or a question, please let me know, and I will be glad to get back to you. Don't forget the guys over at Hawk Creek Armory do a lot of gunsmithing. They do some good tactical training as well. They're top-notch guys. They've always treated me well. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.